This live is to give you a taste of what I go through with my students around the world weekly at Plant Food Culinary Arts. In the Living Foods Foundations course, I go live once a week, and it's after I've gone to the farmer's market. It's usually seasonal and or just great techniques in addition to everything in my curriculum that I share with my students from around the world. And we all join together in a Zoom. I'm starting that meeting right now, and we'll join my students through my iMac here, and they're dropping into the meeting. I have students from all around the world that join me every week, and they're all dropping in to see this demo live with me. And also, I'm wanting to bring up the bundle package that is amazing. If you haven't heard about it, it's pretty awesome, that I have chosen to take part in with Chef AJ and a bunch of other people from around the planet that are dignitaries of the plant-based movement, whether they're chef instructors or professional chefs or nutritionists or doctors, and top of the line in vegan nutrition. An amazing package worth over close to $5,000, over $4,700 worth of material in there, including a new class called Living Foods 101, which is just a teaser class into the larger class where I go live with my students, as you're seeing me do now with my students, to show them a food demo, and you're going to get a sneak peek into how that works. So I see my students are dropping in here from everywhere, and I will be going into record mode. Now, these live segments that I do with my students from around the world are recorded and then dropped into a private community room that's a part of my academy, and they can go back and watch these evergreen for as long as they want to rewatch the videos. And I always post the recipe. A lot of times I'm coming up with things on the fly. I have to type up the recipe later when I'm in creative mode, and then they have that in addition to all of the recipes that are a part of my given curriculum. I want to talk for a minute about the bundle package. This is only $49. Now, the class that you are going to be seeing from me, the Living Foods 101, is worth $149. So you're already getting a massive deal on that one. It has over 30 videos and lectures with me that are teasers into all the different areas that I go much further into in the Living Foods Foundations class that all these students are in. And that one leads to a certification in Living Foods. So that package is amazing. I'm on the site here. It's called the Ultimate Weight Loss Bundle, and that's because Chef AJ put it together, and she does a lot of stuff with weight loss, but this package is not about just weight loss, and my academy is not about weight loss, but if you want to embrace the power of living foods and eating healthy, it's a natural byproduct of it that you're probably going to find a more adequate weight that your body wants to go to. I don't think of what I teach as a diet or a weight loss type of technique, but it is about optimizing your own personal health. It's food as medicine. It's getting rid of all processed foods and stepping into the most optimal version of yourself that you can become. So this Ultimate Weight Loss Bundle has things from, like, Dr. Bernard is going live on March 24th. If you don't know who he is, he's an amazing doctor that will really turn your brain around about how you feel about processed foods and what you should and shouldn't be eating. Some of them are about exercise, meditation, eating, all of those kind of things come into play in optimal health. Rick and Karen Dina are in there. They taught the nutrition program at the Institute where I was a lead instructor and director. Great couple, very, very informative on living foods, for sure. People like Lissa Maris, that's an amazing influence out there. Of course, Chef AJ has classes in there. And my big Living Foods 101 course, when you go in and buy the bundle, you're going to see on the last page of the binder you click on to download for my course, a coupon code that will get you access into the course. So that's how that works. Look for that on the last page in there and put that coupon in that you're given when you buy the bundle, and you get the access into the $149 course for just the $49 you paid for the bundle, plus all of this other stuff. Many of these are ebooks and or some are courses like Chef AJ is doing and I'm doing and a few other people are doing, Ted Carr, all kinds of big influencers out there in the world, Tammy Kramer, Sid Notter, just goes on and on and on. Nathan Maris, of course, and he's Lissa's partner, and they've been doing amazing stuff. They've actually been paramount in putting these bundles together with Chef AJ. So anyway, think about the bundle. It's only $49. Use the link that I have for the bundle. That's what you want to do. You'll see the link in this live segment. Use that link to go in and you can get my Living Foods 101 course for just $49. So today I'm going to be talking about something fairly simple but important. One of the most important things that we do in any given day is what we start the day with. I do intermittent fasting myself. I don't get up and eat a lot of food immediately. I wait till about 11. This would be the time frame when that would come in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and start the recording with my students here, and I'm going to switch from you over to here because they have my attention now. This is my Living Foods Foundation class, and so I will mute all of them, and I'm going to hit record to record this video. And now we go into the food demo. So today I'm going to show you all how to make, oh, got a few more to admit here into the room. Today I'm going to show you how to make vegan yogurt in many different styles. There are many pathways to a good vegan yogurt. I don't like most of the ones I can buy in the store. I think that there's much better ways you can make them, and I'm going to show you how. So my favorite is the young Thai coconut, of course, and it is not as fatty as using cashews, which can work, you know, but they're much heavier on the gut. To me, the young Thai coconut meat is light and wonderful and makes it incredible yogurt, and so that's my preferred method. Now, it's not the only method. You can make almond milk yogurt. That does work, and I'll explain that, but you're going to use, when you soak your almonds and blend them to, like you were going to make an almond milk, where you would have like 4 cups of water to 1 cup of soaked almonds for a milk, you're going to cut it down to like 1 cup of water to 1 cup of almonds, so you have a thick, heavy cream, and that's going to be your base for your yogurt. Now remember, if you don't want it to just taste like one nut, mix them up. That's the key to getting a flavor that is more complex, where it doesn't taste just like cashews or taste just like almonds. You can bring cashew and almond together. You can bring hemp hearts and almonds together. You can mix and match nuts if you don't want it to taste like one particular thing. So I do recommend that as well. Cashews, of course, always can work. You can just soak them. I like to give them a good soak so they blend down really well without using a lot of water. If you're using them just raw, you can do it, but you're going to add more water in to get them to blend down in your Vitamix or high-powered blender, and it's going to end up getting too thin. You can keep them thicker and get them to blend into a thick, wonderful cream for yogurt if you have soaked them overnight. Fully hydrated, then they blend really easily without having to add a lot of water. So give them a good soak if you are going to do cashews. Another great option is soybeans. And these two are actually my favorites. When I go out and try yogurts, the best consistency, without adding a lot of fillers and gummy things into it, I find is soybeans or young Thai coconut. And soybeans, you say, what? Well, that can't be raw. Yes, it can't be raw. That's true. I do raw, and I also do cooked vegan sometimes. And if I'm going to make a soy milk yogurt, it's going to be cooked. You're going to soak these overnight, right? And then just like when you make tofu, you're going to go in, and the next morning, you're going to have to peel the skins off of them. The skins will become loose on them, and you can do it in a tea towel too. And then you're going to cook them down. Or actually, then you're going to blend them with some water. Then you're going to put them through a nut milk bag and take that milk and you have to heat it up. Raw soy is not good for the body. Don't think that you can drink that milk the way you get it. You got to take it up to like 210 degrees, and then you can add in your agar because it's going to need a little bit of a thickener, and you will be adding in, or my favorite, and this goes for all these nut milks. I've tried a lot of things out there, and I just have my favorite, so I'm going to show you that. This is Cultures for Health. Love this company, and this is their vegan yogurt starter, okay? And what you want to get when you get that is also the Pomona's Universal Pectin. That's a vegan pectin, okay? Because you need a thickener. And so these two, hand in hand, make incredible yogurt without all of that guar gum and all that crap the ones in the store have. This is a great natural way to do it, and you can control the sugar content on your own and make a really nice yogurt. Now both of these are going to come into play no matter if you're using almond cream, cashew cream, or soy milk and making a soy yogurt. And soy milk does work really well. You can use just an organic soy milk. You can buy an organic soy milk. Look for one that doesn't have any crap in it. It's just good organic soy milk. And then just use this, and that will work. It will work. If you want to do it from the ground up, you know how I like to sprout things to life and bring the life force energy into anything that I'm making. So, and they don't do that when they're making soy milk commercially. So I prefer to start with organic, and always organic in soybeans, because if they're not organic, there's a high chance that they are GMO. One of the most GMO'd crops in the world. So always organic, whole soybeans that I can sprout to life. Give them a good 24-hour soak before you go to blend them up and then strain the milk and then cook it. And the directions from that point on when you're doing them is on this site. Go to theculturesforhealth.com, and I love this company. Their vegan culture starters are great. You can use them in cheese making, yogurts, all kinds of different things. Highly recommend them. I'm not going to take the time to go through all the steps. You can do it in an Instapot. There's a yogurt setting on your Instapot, or just the stove with a thermometer. And follow the directions on their site. It's right on the package. And they carry this right in our local store here in the Harvest Market in Fort Bragg. But if you can't find it in a local health food store, I know you can order it online, and I have it in the links that you all have in my Amazon Marketplace, okay? Because I really like this company, Cultures for Health. And don't forget, you got to get the Pomona's Pectin as well, for a thickener. If you don't have the Pomona's Pectin, you can do it. It's going to be about a half teaspoon of agar powder for about a quart of yogurt. Half teaspoon. Don't get too carried away, or you're going to have Jello, and it will be too thick. You know, you just want a little bit of thickener in there from your agar. But the pectin actually works best. As far as that creamy texture you think of in a yogurt, highly recommend that. So I have tried many different methods, and I really like that one. So I recommend that if you're going to take this path to getting to yogurt. Then on coconut yogurt. Of course, I love to do young Thai coconut, and so I'm going to get out my cleaver here. I like to use a cleaver. I don't ever use a really good chef knife because the nice thin blade can get chipped when you're opening a Thai coconut. So you're going to want to use something with a heavier blade on it. If you have an old Henkel knife, before you went and bought your good chef knives, save those old Henkels, the big, thicker steak knives. Those also are great. I call them my coconut knife after I've gotten a good Henkel or Mac knife or Shun or whatever that I'm using. I have a few different chef knives, but I would never open a young Thai coconut with them. Use a heavier duty knife. You're going to take the wrapper off. You're going to lay that Thai coconut on its side. Then you're going to insert right in the shoulder here on the coconut and carve it down and just go around. You actually can just keep it all intact into one hat, like a Chinese hat that just pops right off the top. And what you want to do is just expose that coconut all the way around. Move your peelings aside. You're going to put down a towel because now you're going to have some water coming out, okay? And so take your coconut, you've shaved it off all the way around. You can see there's like 3 different sections on here, 3 different spines on the coconut. Go for the one that has the wider section. There's one that's always bigger. So I choose the one that is bigger, and then there's 2 little ones. And put the edge of my knife in there and just tap. And then flip it open like so. Easy peasy, right? And you've got this wonderful coconut meat inside here. I lucked out. I only bought one, and it's beautiful. I can tell you that it looks gorgeous in there. Let me get a glass here. Then you have your elixir that you can sip on while you're making your yogurt or whatever you're going to make. If you're going to be blending up this Yongtai coconut meat for the yogurt, don't drink all that right away, because you're going to use that if you need to thin it to get the consistency you want in the yogurt, right? We don't want to add sweeteners. This is the natural sweetener that we can add to the yogurt, okay? So hold on to it for a little bit here. Now, you don't want to grab a metal spoon and start digging this out, or you're going to have wood from the woody part of the inside of the coconut coming out all over the meat, and it's a mess to clean it off. What you want to do is take this corner of a rubber spatula, a flexible rubber spatula, insert it right into the coconut between the shell and the meat, and you can start spinning it around and release the coconut meat all the way down through, and it pops right out, okay? Now see, there are some just little bits of the meat on there, and you can easily take a chef knife or something and trim those right off. That would be all over the meat if you scrape this out with a heavy spoon, like a metal spoon or something. I don't recommend that, or you're going to have a lot of cleanup, and it's a big pain to clean up your coconut meat. I got it out in almost one solid piece here. That's pretty good. It's pretty empty in the coconut. Highly recommend a rubber spatula. There's a little coconut opener that comes with a metal scraping tool. Cocoa Jack, I think it's called. Don't use that metal scraping tool. Even if you buy that little opener thing for coconuts, use a rubber spatula. It'll do you well, because you're going to have clean meat to work with, okay? Then to make my yogurt, it's really simple. This doesn't get easier. You're going to take your Cuisinart, right? I'm bringing this over here so it can show in that camera as well. You're just going to throw this coconut meat into here, start blending it down until you get a nice creamy base. Of course, I did like 2 or 3 coconuts to get the amount of meat that I needed to make a batch of yogurt. And then you have a choice on what you want to put in for probiotic. You can use the vegan culture starter. This works. I save this one for when I'm doing nut milk yogurts. When I'm just doing Yongtai coconuts, I use a bifidus and acidophilus blend. I like Renew Life, the company, and I wouldn't buy this online. I would go down and buy it at your health food store. You can buy it online, but the one they're going to sell you online is the one that will be on the dry aisle in your grocery store, and that one is not as active. It will not go as fast in a fermentation for you. You want to go and buy the version of this that's in the refrigerated section at your health food store or your favorite yuppie market. Look for the probiotics. They'll have a section where they're in the fridge. Those are the powerful ones, okay? And this company is really great. This is the 15 billion per, so one capsule was enough of this, okay? Put it in there with your blended up coconut meat. Take your water and thin it down to, it can be a little thinner. It doesn't have to be as thick as you want the finished yogurt to be, because it's going to thicken up as it cultures, okay? So it can be a little thinner than what you would normally think of as yogurt. So you can go to that point, just adding little bits of your coconut water until you get that texture. Then I put it into jars, and you're going to want this to culture. I just lay the lid on top without screwing it down tight on the jars so they can gas off if they need to. And then find a warm spot. For me, because I have a gas oven, that's in here, in my little oven. So overnight, these yogurts sat down in here because inside there with the pilot light going, that oven is like 90 degrees, even to 100 because it's a very small oven. So, and in this method, they're having you do that in a controlled heat in the Instapot, which does work as well. You want to have a controlled heat. If you're somewhere like Arizona or where it's really hot, that could be just in your house, you know, overnight. And if it's not tangy enough for you in the morning, let it go longer. You can take 2 days to get the yogurt to the tangy state that you want it to be in. And it's perfectly safe. You can do that without it being in the fridge. It will tang up for you to the level you want. Then you put a lid on and look at the consistency on this. This is wonderful. It's just like perfect, thick, creamy. I know the white gets blown out with the camera, but it's very thick and very nice, okay? This is wonderful yogurt. And it naturally gets the tang to it. You don't have to do anything to it, and it's unsweetened. That's what I love about doing the coconut yogurt. It naturally has just a little bit of sweet to it, but that tart that's perfect. So for me, I can't beat a young Thai coconut yogurt. I think it's just the best. On the catering gig we've been doing in Bodega Bay with all those students from around the world, we actually didn't want to have to make a bunch, you know, I'm not going to open 50 coconuts to create a bunch of coconut, but they want vegan coconut or vegan yogurt out there with the granola and the fresh fruit that we're putting out in the morning. So I found, we've been looking around, and actually Simone, that works with me, found over in the health food store. I've had this before, but we can't buy it here on the coast, and I'm so glad she found it on Mariposa over in Willits when she was driving through there and bought a bunch of it. It's called Coco June, and this is from New York, and this is excellent coconut, exactly what I made right here. And you can buy that. So if you can't get young Thai coconuts, look for the Coco June. I really love this product. If it's not being carried by your local store or health food store, have them look it up and have them get a hold of them and carry it. I guarantee you're going to love this. Okay, so not everyone has deep pocketbooks, and by that I mean these are expensive. Supply lines are down right now with COVID and the pandemic worldwide. All kinds of weird things are happening. I paid $7 for this coconut. That's ridiculous, you know. And they have been as low as $1.99, but right now they're super expensive. So I'm a realist. Can you do this without raw, young Thai coconut meat? Absolutely. But be careful of what you choose. Here's what I recommend. Native Forest. Now there's a lot of coconut milks out there, but they all have guar gum and all kinds of weird stuff in them that is unnecessary. Look for pure organic sources. This is organic coconut cream from Native Forest, okay? And this is going to give you the equivalent of 2 to 3 of these. So this is like $14 or $21 right now for 3 of these, given the supply lines that are going on, where you could get this for $4, this whole can, okay? So don't feel like it's the end of the world if you have to do that. That's great. This is organic. Yes, it has been cooked, so it's not raw. This isn't raw, but it will be a living food because you're introducing these wonderful probiotics in there and still making a far healthier yogurt than you can buy, okay? You're just going to open this up and take the thicker. You'll notice when you open up a can of coconut cream, heavy cream, especially, what I do is put it in the fridge overnight, and it separates out the thinner water from the thick. The thick usually comes up to the top, so it's right at the top when you pull the tab and open it up. Take that thick coconut, put it into your Cuisinart, blend it up, and check the consistency. Then you can add more of that water down in there, just like we did with the young Thai coconut, to reach the perfect consistency you want. Add your probiotic, put it aside to ferment, you're good as gold. Same thing, we're doing it organically. Yes, it's not. I do prefer this because there's so many other living properties that are wonderful in young Thai coconut when you can do it, but I'm a realist, you know, and I don't want this to be something that's so expensive people think I can't do that kind of a living food thing because it's beyond my budget. it can be in your budget. Just be careful, keep it organic, look for things that don't have fillers and weird stuff in them. It works, okay? And then if you're doing the nut milk stuff, I've already told you, go to the vegan yogurt starter at Cultures for Health. So that's what I did with that. So what am I doing with this? Well, what I'm going to do is show you how to make a parfait, and a wonderful breakfast treat to make with yogurt. I love doing parfaits, especially if you're having a brunch party with people over at your house. It's always wonderful and elegant and looks great and tastes great. So it's just a win-win in all situations. You can do parfaits in just little jars like this, and also you can make these ahead. I love these are yogurt jars. Les parfaits, it's actually called parfait, that I bought at our local harvest market. And so I can make yogurt ahead and keep it in the fridge, but I also make parfaits ahead of time. Just layer them up. And then you've got them, on Sunday or whatever, put 4 or 5 of them in the fridge. You've got your breakfast ready to go. I love batch cooking and putting things in. We have busy lives. Work ahead of yourself. Work smart, not hard, right? If I'm going to be making the parfaits ahead of time and putting them in the fridge, I will wait on the granola and add that the day I'm eating it. Because the granola will get all soggy once it's set in the fridge for 4 days. That makes sense, right? If you're building the yogurt parfaits and you're going to be serving them right away at home, go ahead and put the yogurt or the granola right in there and layer it in. It's not going to get soggy by the time you serve it. And I love that crunch, the fresh fruit, the crunchy granola, and the yogurt. I like to mix it up. And my parfait, I will either bring in like an avocado chocolate mousse sometimes if I'm feeling like I want to go sweeter, and that actually can be for dessert in the evening. And for the mousse, if I was doing it actually these for a dessert, I don't necessarily want them to be as tangy as yogurt, so I don't put the culture in. I just blend up the anti-coconut meat and make a whipped cream, basically. And then do the avocado chocolate mousse. Avocado chocolate mousse is just like 2 or 3 avocados, some cacao powder to the level you want. You can make it as chocolatey as you want. A little splash of maple syrup and a dash of salt. Blend it up in the Cuisinart. You've got a wonderful mousse. If you've never tried it, you should try it. It's the healthiest chocolate mousse you can make. And whether you're going to layer that into a chocolate torte or put it in parfaits, it's wonderful. Okay? But today, since I'm showing you a brunch parfait, what I did this morning is I opened up a mango and blended it down in my high-powered blender, and I actually added lime. Mango's just kind of sweet. It's a wonderful creamy thing to make a chia pudding with because it has a wonderful creamy nature to it. But it is kind of this flat sweet once you've blended it down, and I want drama in there. And lime juice is wonderful. You can even put a little lime zest with a microplane in there. Lime and mango go together beautifully, just like lime and papaya go together beautifully, and lime and jackfruit go together beautifully. So I did some mango and I blended it down. I added lime to it, got the flavor balance perfect. Then I added in some chia. So I added 3 tablespoons of white chia powder. It could be black or white chia seeds. You could put black chia seeds too. It doesn't matter. They just make more of a black fleck throughout it. I just buy bulk white because when I make a powder and I'm using chia as a thickener in certain desserts, I don't want all the black flecks through there, so I like the white better. But either one works, and they both have the amazing omega-3s that chia bring in our diet. And I did that just so that it would thicken up, kind of like a jam, a little thicker than what it was. Plus you get all the omega-3s from chia, so why not? So what I'm going to do is layer with coconut and chia. And what I like to do is, this is the chocolate mousse, by the way, it's beautiful. That's the avocado chocolate mousse, okay, that you could make with just avocados. Had some extra of that I brought back from the catering gig in Bodega Bay. So that's going to some kids that are going to love it, from a friend of mine. I just take a bowl and you can do this straight up too, but I like being artistic about it. So I'm going to slightly lay it on an angle and then layer in my layers, and so you'll have it streaked at an angle in the glass. Why not? You know, we eat with our eyes first. I always want to have fun and be creative, okay? So you can start layering in with whatever you want. I'm going to start with the mango. It's a little bit more pourable. So I'll start with that as my first layer there. Keep that down at an angle. And see, it's already starting an angular line in there. And then you can start layering in whatever you want. You could put some banana in there. I have strawberries, blueberries, and bananas. All of them go great with mango and yogurt. So that's going to be wonderful. The other thing I have, which is in the 101 course as well, is my sprouted buckwheat granola. I have all kinds of different versions of sprouted buckwheat granola. This one happens to be the blueberry orange. So it's in larger chunks, like I like it for cereal. You can just take these and layer them in there. They kind of work well in this larger state. If you want them to be a crumble, go ahead and put them on a cutting board and crumble them down more and lay them in that way. But in these larger chunks, you can actually just lay them in like puzzle work around on your mango pudding. Mango Chia Pudding is what that is. And I'm working around the edge because I want to see the granola, right? Because we're doing striated layers. So visually will be really cool when you prop it up and see that. So just work around the edge so that you can see your layer of granola, and then fill in the middle. And you can get some to the back there as well. Then just decide which item you want to layer next. You know, I can take some banana and slice it up here. Let's move the granola out of the camera there. Just do some quick bias cut slices of the banana there. And then I think I'm going to take and cut them lengthwise. You'll see why. I'm just looking at the glass and thinking what it's going to present to the person seeing it from the side. So we'll cut them lengthwise and then take them and line them all around the edge here. I like to play with my food. My mom will tell you I probably was doing that even in my high chair when I was a kid. Probably not even eating it, playing with it more than I was eating it. Layering banana all the way around the edge, and then you can just fill in the middle once you get it all the way around the edge of the jar for your presentation purposes. Reach in there to that bottom part. There we go. Now I can put some banana all the way across. And next I'm going to put in some yogurt. Fill that right in there. Spread it around. Beautiful. It's okay to talk to your food while you're playing with it. It helps it. Puts good energy into it. It's like you're talking to your child. Telling them how beautiful they are, how wonderful they are. There we go. My grandchild was born. I don't know if you've all tapped into my Facebook and seen the incredible pictures, and he is a doll. There's this wonderful picture of him with the biggest smile one day after he was born. Big eyes. He is just cuter than all get out. Arlo David. So they named him Arlo. Gotta love that. Love Arlo Guthrie, always have. So for me, that's what I thought of immediately. You know, a good name for, and both Hannah and Andy are very music oriented, singing, playing piano, all that kind of stuff. So very amazing. This is fun food for kids too. Remember that. When you're building things like this, get those kids up to the counter. Even if you have to get them up on a stool, start early with kids. Get them to play with the food with you in the kitchen. Now I'm going to put some strawberries around there. That'll be a beautiful change in color. also delicious. Just doing a half moon kind of cut on those so that I can lay them around the edge after the yogurt here. Just bring them all the way around. And I also have blueberries that we can layer into here. So we'll do another layer of the chia after this, and then we'll get to our blueberries. There we go. And put some filler in the middle there. That can be a little bit bigger slices for the middle part. Boom. Okay. So see, we've got our chia mango, our banana, then yogurt, then strawberry. And maybe I'll put blueberry right now, right next to the strawberries. We're going to go blue and red right next to each other. And get a bunch of blueberries in there. I love blueberries. Of course, one of the most antioxidant power food out there, filled with antioxidants, great for anti-cancer. And all the purple foods, of course, are the most nutritious as far as the spectrum of vitamins go and antioxidants. So blueberries are definitely in that category. Okay, now I can put more of the mango in on top of the blueberries. Nice. Spread that out a little bit there. And then let's put another layer of banana. Oh, I'm using the cleaver on a banana. A little overkill, but you know, it's what was there and my hand reached for it. Okay, that should be enough. We're getting close to being finished here. Just the final touches here. Banana around the edge there. Beautiful. And then maybe just a little bit more yogurt and some strawberry, and we're done. This is going to be fun and delicious to eat. This is a great way to get kids to eat healthy food, especially if you get them up to the counter to make it. If you make something like a parfait ahead of time and go hand it to a child to eat, they're like, "Ooh, what's in it?" But if they were at the counter building it the whole way and they're like, "Ooh, I want that, I want that, I want that," then they're going to eat it. That's the little psychological trick to do with kids. I did it with my kids, and it worked fantastically. So get them up to the counter, get them engaged, especially when you've got multiple different flavors and colors, which brings all the vitamins, of course, into play. That is important for us. But get those kids up to that counter and get them involved, and they're going to eat it more than they would. Believe me, it works. I did this with mine, and I fooled them. And they're foodies today because of it. So beautiful. I love having the strawberries right on the top there. And then I'm going to do a trick here. Let's move all of this out of the way. For the final top, you want a whole strawberry for that. And let's get a really nice red one. What you do is cut the bottom off, the greens there. And by the way, you can save the greens from strawberries to be blended up later if you want for smoothies and stuff, because, gotta admit someone else. The greens on strawberries are totally edible. When I'm making a smoothie, I just throw the whole strawberry in, right? The greens are absolutely edible, and why get rid of them? So what I'm doing here is taking the strawberry, I'm going to cut through it most of the way, but not all the way. I'm going to leave a little bit attached on one side, and you'll see I'm coming in at an angle with my knife, but not going all the way through. I used to sit and do hundreds of these when I was working banquets, and we had, you know, hundreds of desserts to put out, and every one of them had a strawberry fan on the top. That's what I'm making. And we'd sit and crank out hundreds of these. So you got really fast at it. You just put your knife against your knuckle, and you're going to slide toward yourself, but you stop before you've cut all the way through that strawberry. You want to have it attached on this side. So just pull it in and move your knuckle across the strawberry. You're making just like a 32nd of an inch of a cut. And so it's attached back here, but you can totally fan it out and get a wonderful strawberry fan there, all attached on the bottom and along that one side so it holds together. Now you can place this on your chocolate torte, on your, in this case, parfait, whatever it is, and it's a beautiful way to top it on the top. So we've got our wonderful parfait here with all of our striated layers there. And in the top, you can see the mango pudding, you can see the yogurt, got the wonderful fan of the strawberry there. And you know, you could, like I said, you could do this straight, but why not have it swirl through at an angle? It's like, I like using the bias cut because it's the sexier cut on vegetables. I like dripping things into a glass on the bias. And you can do them any way you want. But this is really fun to eat. You've got yogurt, you've got the wonderful mango chia pudding in there, and all these fresh fruits. Super easy, okay? Same thing, but just a different palette for dessert. You're going to use that avocado chocolate pudding, and then you're going to blend just some coconut, whether it's out of the can or from a young Thai coconut, into a whipped cream. And use these both and layer them up with whatever fruits you want. When I'm doing the dessert, I go out and buy an organic vegan chocolate bar, and my final topping on that would be to take a peeler and just run it along the chocolate bar, and you get these wonderful curls of chocolate, okay? So that's the perfect topping for the chocolate coconut cream version of this, for the dessert version of your parfait, okay? And you can also do that dessert one or the breakfast one for a brunch in a trifle bowl, okay? They're the glass bowls that have a glass foot on them. They're raised up, and they usually have straight sides. So it's a straight-sided glass bowl with a foot. It has a pedestal under it, and it's a trifle bowl. And you're layering a trifle together. Now, typically, trifles would have ladyfingers or some kind of, you know, cake also in there with it. You can decide if you want to have something like that in there, or you can just stay really natural and use some kind of chia pudding, whatever one you want to make up. And that chia pudding, of course, can be anything. I happened to make mango this morning. This could have been blueberry chia pudding. It could have been blackberry. It could be boysenberry. Anything you want on that chia pudding layer is going to be wonderful to pair with the yogurt. We're just going for layers of flavor in each bite. All the wonderful bursts of sweetness from a fresh fruit, the tartness of the yogurt, and then the complex flavors of whatever your chia pudding happens to be. Okay? So that's the how to make yogurt in many different ways and a wonderful chia pudding and bring them together into a parfait. So I'm going to unmute now and see if anyone has any questions about this or anything in the curriculum that you want to bring up.
James, we have one from Facebook, one of your Facebook watchers.
Okay.
Elizabeth Mansour. I think you know Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, yeah. Elizabeth on Facebook. Chad is reading your question, so I will get it answered here. Yes.
Yeah, so basically she was asking about the coconut. Can we buy frozen? And I know you had some...
yes.
And also the link.
She's reading my mind. You can buy frozen, and right now it's a better option. And there's a company called Symbiosis, which was a different name. I've been using them for years at the Academy. High quality product, frozen right in Thailand and shipped over. Organic, totally organic operation. They flash freeze it right after harvesting it out of the coconuts, and you can order it. Chad can put that link in the chat on the Facebook, Elizabeth, so you will have that for ordering that Symbiosis coconut. And you have to order, I believe, 10 at a time, but when you do the price break on it, it's actually just as cheap as getting young Thai coconuts at their regular price. And right now, it is way cheaper. For those 10, it is like $50, I believe, for the 10 of them. And that's 10 1-pound packets. Now realize that each one of those packets in that case you're going to get is the equivalent of like 4 young Thai coconuts. So, and it's down to like $5 a package. So it's a really good deal. It really is a great way to get it. And you can store it beautifully in your freezer. It's organic. There's no other ingredients put in it. You don't get the wonderful elixir to sip on, which is part of the fun of opening young Thai coconuts, is that you have this wonderful coconut water to drink, but you can get it, is the answer. Yes, symbiosis. Chad will put the link in the chat. My students already have it. It's on the live we did a few weeks ago. I put the symbiosis link in when we were using young Thai coconut, but I'll put it again under this one when I put this recording up in the community room, so you'll have it as well. Okay.
Perfect. And then MB also has a question, and I think it's her name. Can we also use thick coconut meat in place of young coconut?
Coconut meat in place of young coconut. Are they talking about hard coconut meat?
I'm not sure.
Because there's young Thai coconut meat like this. This is the soft young Thai coconut. Then there's the hard coconut, which is the hard shell that's kind of hairy, okay? And that's tough inside. Now you can technically blend that down, but it is not the same thing. It's a different beast. I don't believe you're going to get the same quality, and it's going to be much harder to work with than young Thai coconut meat in this case. So, but that being said, you can make your own coconut milk. Take desiccated coconut, the large flake coconut, blend it down, or it can be the small flake coconut too. Shredded coconut, blend it down with water in your Cuisin or your Vitamix. Blend it really well. Then you're going to put it through a nut milk bag, okay? And all the fat, I like to use the large flake coconut for that, will be in the water. And you can get a very fatty coconut milk. You can make it from dried coconut. Then you take that blended milk, put it in a jar, put it in the fridge overnight, just like I said to do with this can. What you're going to have happen is that the fats of the coconut, you'll see, will separate just like they do in the can. Then you can actually produce a coconut cream that way. The fat is all in there in the dried coconut flakes, and that's the way to do it if you're not using the cream out of the can or a young Thai coconut. I'm not sure about the harder coconuts and how you go about. Probably with them it would be a similar thing, blending it down, putting it through a nut milk bag to get the flesh out, the hard stuff, because there's all that hard stuff that you don't have in the young Thai coconut milk. Then refrigerating it to get the fats to separate. I'm sure it would work just the same. So there's the pathway for that. Any other questions?
I have a comment.
Okay.
So the baby coconuts went up to over $12 each a month ago.
Yeah.
So the store stopped carrying, but now even if you wanted to order a case of them, they can't get them even. So that's where we're
Okay.
at.
She's saying that Pat is saying that the coconuts have gone up to $12 each where she lives, and they can't even get the cases of them right now. That's why I say check out that link for Symbiosis if you want to get some young Thai coconut meat, because it really is. And they, as far as I know, they are delivering still. I don't think there's a supply line problem with them. They aren't saying that on the site, so I assume that their shipments haven't been blocked. There's so much weird stuff going on right now, it's hard to tell. But it's worth a try, for sure. And definitely will save you money. And just bank it into the freezer, and then you have it whenever you want it. I use young Thai coconut meat in any number of different things. It's great for making all kinds of creamy tarts in dessert making, for sure. Buttercream frosting for cakes. The healthiest frosting you can make is with young Thai coconut meat, I believe. So and that's more in my advanced desserts course. We will definitely be using a lot of it. So, in fact, once I get the dessert course launched, I will be sending people ahead of time the requirements, and one of them will be to order a case of the young Thai coconut meat because they're going to want it when I go into advanced living foods desserts with them because it's so powerful and much healthier than turning to coconut oil, which people turn to too often as a thickener, and it's a saturated fat, very different than the fresh coconut meat that you get out of the coconut, and this is far healthier. So, any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, Joyce.
Okay. Yes, so since you brought up the frozen
Yeah.
coconut, if you blended that, would you blend it frozen or do you let it thaw out and blend it, and does that make a difference?
Okay, so she's asking about the frozen coconut meat and what you have to do when you get it out of the freezer in order to use it. Good question. You don't want to thaw it too quickly. I like to do it gentle. If I am thinking ahead, the day before will move it from the pack I'm going to use from the freezer to the fridge and slow thaw it. That's the best route. If you are taking it right out of the freezer and they're in these little air packets, the plastic packets, you can just take a packet of it out of your case and put it into a bowl with just warm water, not hot water. Just warm, tepid water, and just let it slowly thaw. It'll thaw within an hour or two. It will thaw. You can massage it a little once it starts breaking up, and then it's ready to blend. Okay. It's fine if it's a little bit half semifredo frozen when it goes in the blender. There's friction in the blender. You're going to have to blend it quite a bit to get it to this wonderful creamy texture like I did with the yogurt anyway. So there's going to be, it's better if you start with it cold, then you're not going to overheat it by the time you get it all blended down into the creaminess that you want. So go ahead and start while it's still cold. That's just fine. Okay?
How long does it last in the refrigerator?
How long does it last in the refrigerator?
Yeah, once it's made, yeah.
The yogurt will last up to 2 weeks. I mean, you've got a probiotic in here. I usually heat it up fairly quickly. So within a week, I'm usually using it up. But I've had it last up to 2 weeks in the fridge. The probiotic helps. And definitely don't leave it out. If you're getting it out to get some out, put it right back in the fridge. Keep it cold. Keep a lid on it. Should be fine, you know.
Do you use a Saccharomyces boulardii probiotic?
Yes, there's a number. Yeah.
Okay.
It's great to have a lot of different probiotics coming into our gut. I'm all about gut health. This is all about gut health. Yes, you could just blend up young Thai coconut meat and make a parfait, but why not put that probiotic powder in, let it go in a warm oven overnight, and they expand by the billions, eating all through the natural sugars in the coconut, and then you're getting a super hit of probiotics in your gut. So it's so much more powerful than just blending up the coconut meat and making a parfait. You can do that. And if you're in a rush and you have a brunch that's on the fly that just came up, you don't have time to make yogurt, go ahead and blend up the coconut meat. And yeah, you didn't have time to do the whole probiotic thing. Just put in a splash of apple cider vinegar, you'll get the tang. Okay? Use a living vinegar, either a living coconut vinegar or a living apple cider vinegar. I'm not a huge fan of using dead vinegars. I want the ones that have more probiotics that bring into the party. So you can get the probiotics into your yogurt and give it that tang of a yogurt for a quick make of the yogurt if you are in a rush for a brunch or a dinner party and you wanted to. And the same thing, by the way, to make a wonderful sour cream. Like I did a beautiful chipotle sour cream with young Thai coconut meat for topping our tamales that we made at Bodega Bay for this last catering gig. And it was great, and I flavor out my sour cream. It's the coconut meat as well, but then I'm putting a dash of either miso or salt in there and a little bit of apple cider vinegar to get that sour cream first, and then I do soaked chipotle chilies and blend those in there, and you get this incredible chipotle sour cream that blows people away. And they're just wanting to pick up the squirt bottle and squirt it in their mouth. It's so good. So I have some in the fridge that I brought back with me. And I actually put some in the freezer because they blended up a lot of it because we had a lot of extra coconut meat there. So I made a lot of it. And you can freeze it. That's the nice thing if you have extra. So the coconut freezes beautifully. All the desserts you can make with young Thai coconut meat also freeze beautifully. So that's one wonderful aspect of using the young Thai coconut meat as well, is that it's very freezer friendly when you're making chocolate torts, any kind of products out of it, even a pudding or a mousse. So yeah.
Great, thanks.
Any more questions?
Can I ask you a logistical question about the $49 course?
Okay.
Okay. Each chef brings something special to the table.
Yes.
For this. So, but my question is, I heard somebody talking yesterday and they were talking about their anti-inflammatory book, and they said if you buy it through them, that you get a download of this anti-inflammatory book. And what I'm curious about is that their offer for everyone?
Yeah,
so
it
if
is.
I buy it through you.
No, it's if you buy the bundle through me, you get access to everything in the bundle. It doesn't matter who you buy it through. So they're just saying if you buy it with the link, when you're looking at any of us that are out there promoting it, I'm of course putting my link there because each of us make money on the bundle when people buy through our own link of everyone that's in the bundle. So of course we're promoting it to our own people through our own social media to get as many sales as we can for ourselves. But everyone that went in through Chef AJ, through Dr. Bernard, through anyone else also gets my course for the $49 they bought into the bundle, no matter who they buy it from. So that is a wonderful part of it. You're getting access to full access, whether it's a live course, whether it's a live event like with Dr. Bernard, or downloaded ebooks. I recommend that when you go and purchase it for $49, it's gonna take you to a page where it just has all of the different ones listed down. Get a backup hard drive ready and just save them right to the backup hard drive. You don't want to put ebooks and all these classes and stuff all over the desktop of your computer. It's a lot. There is a lot of material in here, and it's great. And then if anything ever happens to your computer and it crashes, you have them safely on a hard drive because you have these evergreen forever, And in the case of a live course like mine, what you do have the ebook with all the recipes that come with that 101 course, but you also have, you get a bonus with mine that other people don't have. It's just one ebook and it's done. Those students have access for life to my 101 course. They can tap back in 3 years from now and rewatch the videos or whatever they want, So you get evergreen access to that Living Foods 101 course. And then the great deal that I have for everyone that buys into that 101 course is that if you decide to take the leap into these things I'm showing you now that I do with my students, this live that I do with my students is not a part of the Living Foods 101. Those are pre-recorded. That's like the teaser course. Really great course, giving you just a little touch of each of the different areas of what I teach. But if you want to really take the deeper dive into every one of those, whether it's fermentation, oil-free salad dressings, entrees, desserts, everything, plus the live weekly segment where I'm adding even more recipes in, you can credit what you bought the 101 course for towards the tuition of moving on and then signing into the Living Foods Foundation. So not only is it a teaser for you, but you actually can credit forward what you paid and then move on in the program if you want to go for certification. Okay, so that's how that can work as well. So a little bit of added bonus in there with mine compared to some of the other people. Because it's just the doorstep into the program, and if you love what's going on, you can just take more and more and more courses in the future. And then you will have access to the live segments that we do weekly. Okay? Anyone else? Is there any other questions on the Facebook? Chad's monitoring that one for me.
Not on the Facebook.
Okay.
I was really thrilled to see that Em is watching from Fiji. That's awesome.
Nice. Someone from Fiji, yeah.
Oksana asked earlier in one of your students in the chat, do you grind chia seeds or do you use them whole?
Okay, that's a good question. I do grind them at times, depending on what I'm thickening with them. They can be used whole. They are more noticeable when they're whole. You can see them in there as little seeds. It's more like a kind of like a thick bubble tea when you make a pudding with the seeds whole. But if you don't like to see all the seeds, you can grind it up for sure and just put the powder in. Either way, it's going to work just fine. And actually, you're probably going to get a little bit more of the omega-3 nutrition if you grind it, because the seeds, once they're hydrated, still are not broken, and you need to masticate them in your mouth and break them open to get the full benefits of the omega-3s out of them. So on that note, when you're eating something that has chia seeds in it, whether it's a morning porridge you're making with a nut milk or whatever it is, really chew it. Chew those chia seeds, because they're just going to pass right through you like they do in the birds that eat them in the wild and then get pooped out in their poop, and that's how they propagate and spread around, you know. And so those seeds are tenacious. They're made to go through the digestive system and right through us, and they will not deliver the omega-3s unless you masticate them and chew them up. Same with flax. So, you know, both great omega-3 sources, but in the ground, it's definitely activated and broken open, so you're getting more of that benefit. Okay, but either way works. They release that mucilagenic or mucilage from them. Mucilagenic isn't really a word, but it sounds like it should be. You know, you know what I'm talking about. They make a pudding. It becomes thick. You know, they're like a little fish egg, kind of like, you know. But chew it up. You want to release all of those wonderful omegas and get that full benefit.
Hi, Chef Jane.
Hi.
Were you saying that I got angle business, so it got disconnected for a little bit, the audio? Were you saying that both chia and flax should be grounded? Is that what you said?
So
Because I never grounded the chia, but I always did the flax.
This is Liliana from from Walnut Creek, and she's asking about.
Colombia. I'm in Colombia right now.
But she's in Colombia right now, so she's tapping in from far away. She's visiting family down in Colombia right now. So she's asking if both the chia and flax need to be ground. No, they don't, and they both can be used without, and they both put off that mucilage that is a great thickener and can be a replacement for eggs without grinding them. But if someone's not chewing them completely, they're not getting the omegas out of them, is what I'm pointing out. And so it can be to your benefit to make a flax meal or a chia meal. And it works beautifully. I use a spice blender to do it. You know, my spice grinder, like an old, it looks like a coffee grinder. You know, Cuisinart makes them. They're just for spices. Spice mill, I guess they're called. And just make your powder. In the case of chia, you can grind more ahead of time and keep it. It doesn't go rancid quite as quick. In flax, I always like to point out, only grind what you're going to use and use it up. Because flax, once it is ground, the oils in it go rancid and become free radicals in the body and not healthy for us. So don't buy those big bags of flax seeds. Stay away from that. Just buy them whole, grind what you need. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Do you like flax in capsules, like for taking as an omega-3, or that don't have to be refrigerated? What do you think about that?
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't recommend it. If someone has flax powder in a capsule that is not refrigerated, I wouldn't trust it.
No, it's usually more of a...
Are you saying flax oil?
Flax oil, but in a capsule
Okay,
form,
but
not
flax oil in a capsule form should be refrigerated. I would not trust a product that was not being refrigerated. Any good cold-pressed flax oil in a health food store should be sold in the fridge. It should never be on the shelf. I wouldn't buy shelf flax oil. That means they've cooked it to death to try and kill that part that goes rancid. So it's a really cooked, processed flax oil. A cold-pressed good flax oil, which people do take for omegas, if you are one that is into oils, should be refrigerated. The best ones are, for sure. So,
do you think that algae gives you enough, as a vegan product, gives you enough omega-3s if you don't want to do fish oil? Or what do you get your omega-3s?
Okay, so Joyce is asking about omega-3s and where you're getting them and what you turn to. I like a broad spectrum of sources coming in for them. Algae can be a source, spirulina, different things like that, freshwater algae, walnuts, also a great one, the one nut you can have every day because it has the perfect blend of omegas, including omega-3, but the 3-6-9 ratio is great in walnuts, where like almonds are far more omega-6 and need to be balanced out with more omega-3. So walnuts are a great source, flax and chia for sure are a great source. And just keeping steady flow of all these things in your diet, you're going to be fine in omegas. When I've tested for them, I'm totally fine. And I don't take omega supplements. You can, but I don't. I think that I'm getting enough with the plant-based diet that I have and the broad spectrum of sources for omegas that are coming in. But there is good vegan omega-3 supplements if you are worried about that and want to do that. You can get those. In fact, I think I have one on the supplement page in my Amazon store. You can look at that. Okay, yeah. But it's usually not a problem if you're using a lot of chia and flax seeds, especially because they're so high in it. And hemp hearts. Remember hemp hearts too. In fact, I have some out here because that's one thing that I like as a garnish. You know, even on the top of this parfait that I'm going to wonderfully devour after we're finished filming here. Just remembering those, great source of protein, but omegas as well. Omega-3, chia, flax, hemp hearts. Good, great source.
Do you grind the hemp hearts as well?
No, you don't need to grind hemp hearts at all. In fact, they're so oily, they don't grind well. I mean, they make a great milk, by the way. You can make flax yogurt. You can make a flax cream. Flax milk works for all kinds of things, you know. So if you're going to blend them up, they release oil very quickly. They can be I have wonderful hemp heart creamy salad dressings. And it's the base instead of cashews. For those that want to use seeds instead of nuts to get a creamy salad dressing, hemp hearts are wonderful for it. And a wonderful way to have an omega-3 rich salad dressing that's nice and creamy. So, but they don't really grind into a powder. They're fairly oily.
And they don't go rancid, right? Even though
I keep them in the fridge. Because there's so much oil in them, I like to store them in the fridge. You know, so I'm not sure. I know that flax is the worst as far as how quickly it goes rancid, you know, and it really does need to be, it's just like sesame oil is not room stable either. There's a few different walnut oil. There's a few different oils. I don't do oils anymore, so I don't have a lot of oils in my house. But there are some oils that really need to be stored in the fridge or they go rancid. And they're free radicals to the body once they do. And so...
Hey James, Diane couldn't join. She just joined late, and she was just wondering. I was wondering too. If you are able to preserve the Facebook session, will you be putting that on your main page?
Yes, I hope that this is the first Facebook Live that I have done. So it's all a learning curve here, and I hope that it is evergreen and that I can just have it on my page and you can watch the entire thing again. But because this is also a recorded session with my live students, it's always recorded in Zoom, and I put it onto the community page for my students. And I will do the same with that recording on my Facebook page if the Facebook Live is not available to do that with. So regardless, it's going on my Facebook page. So you'll be able to see the entire demo. Okay? That was a question someone had about if this video will be on the Facebook page. So one way or another, it's getting there, for sure. And on Instagram, probably too. So, all right. Okay, well, everyone have a beautiful,
beautiful,
yeah, beautiful
parfait.
It's,
Thank you.
thank you. I love it. They're really fun to make. They're really fun to eat. Get the kids up to the counter. Get them to have some fun. Or find your inner child and have some fun yourself as an adult. So cheers. And I'll see everyone next week, okay, in our live session. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, so there you have it. That's my live weekly session. It's now burning the video of that session with my students. That goes into the community section on my website that my students have access to, where they can get a printout of any of the recipes I've done in the lives and can access them forever. And I do them every week of the year. So there's 52 of those in the year, in addition to what they're getting in the Living Foods Foundations course. That's the one after Living Foods 101, which is the one that's in the bundle. The amazing bundle, I have to mention it one more time before we go, with all of these incredible contributors from people like Dr. Neil Bernard, who's going to have a live on March 24th. That will be fantastic. Chef AJ, of course, has some wonderful cooking classes in there. People like Lissa Maris and Rick and Karen Dina. Of course, you've got My Living Foods 101 course, one of the most valuable deals in the entire thing, worth $149. And remember, you're only paying $49 for this bundle package with the link you see in this live session here. Just go through to, it will take you right to the page where you pay the $49. You get all of this. I mean, I don't have time to go through all of them, but there's just so many amazing contributors, influencers, chefs, nutritionists, even bodywork people showing the power of plant-based nutrition in bodywork. And yes, the bundle is called the Weight Loss Bundle, but it's really not about weight loss. It's about optimizing your health through plant-based foods. I don't consider my classes to be a diet or a weight loss thing, but the natural benefit of what I teach will get you there. It will get you to that place your body wants to be when you are in optimal health through understanding food as medicine. So that's it for the Facebook Live, and hopefully this will be posted to my Facebook page as the live event. If not, like I said, I have recorded it through Zoom, and I will go ahead and post it so that anyone who missed it can indeed see the entire video and learn all about making every different kind of yogurt that you can make, including the young Thai coconut yogurt that we made here, creating a chia pudding and layering it into a beautiful parfait. Cheers.